Hello, and welcome back to session 2 of our training on building healthy teams. In session 1, we look at purpose and basically the difference between being activity or task focused and being purpose focused. And I believe that you learned one or two things there that you can use that will make you a better team leader of a high-performing team. So in this session, we're going to look at the people principle. And the goal is to shift from resource management to human management. So a well-known technology company in Silicon Valley spent 2 years and a considerable research budget trying to understand what made its high-performing teams different from its average performing teams. The project was called Project Aristo. The researcher expected to find what the best team had that made them exceptional. They were expecting that it must be the individuals. But the data said something entirely different. And in that research, the single biggest predictor of team performance was not technical skills. It was not educational background or individual productivity scores. It was psychological safety. Psychological safety. Whether the team members feel safe to take interpersonal risks, to speak up, to admit mistakes, to offer ideas without fear of embarrassment or punishment. It was discovered in that research that the highest performing teams had leaders who made people feel that their voice mattered, not just their output alone, their voice, not just their output. Okay, ability to make goal consistently wasn't the predator of high performance, but psychological safety. So from this, I want you to know that your team is not just a resource. Your team member are actually the work. So it's not, you know how we treat resource. You have a contract, you put a team together, and then you finish the contract and everybody goes until when you get another contract. That's not how to use people. When you use people like that, you say that they are resource. You just use them to achieve your own goal. No. The people, your team members, are actually the work. And the way you treat them will determine the performance of your group to a large extent. Now, I want you to know that there's a difference between feeling needed and feeling valued. When you treat people as a resource, you make them feel needed. I need you to accomplish this. So your focus is always on their outcome. So you must make that shift of seeing the people as the work itself, not just as a resource. There are clear distinctions, as you can see from this table. Feeling needed because you require their function and output. But if you want your people to feel valued, then you must care about their person and well-being. So you see two different ways of treating people. You can treat them as a resource. Just come, let's accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish. But you can treat them as being valuable when you go beyond the activities of the day. Because the employees also, they interpret it. So the way you treat them will determine whether, oh, my roles just matter to the machine, just matter for us to achieve goal, or my voice matter to the team. My voice matters to the team. And depending on how you treat them, your ultimate goal will be directly linked to the way you treat them, the way you make them feel. If you make them feel needed, they will show up and they will just fulfill the job description. That's compliant, just like Captain A that we saw in the first session. If you make them feel valued, they will stay, they will grow, and they will give more than required. That's commitment. So which one do you want? Which one do you want? What you want should influence how you treat them. Now let's just look at the concrete cause of getting it wrong. Getting it wrong is treating people as a resource. So there was a research by Gallup in 2023, and it was found out that low employee engagement costs the global economy about 8.9 trillion per year, which is equivalent to about 9% of global GDP. In that research, teams with high engagement are over 23% more profitable. And it was clearly shown that the difference between an engaged and a disengaged team member is almost always traceable to how their leader treats them. So you see the difference when you treat people and they just feel needed, and then when you treat them and they feel valued. You can see that the cost is massive. So I want to believe that this will change the way you treat people going forward. So let's look at 4 practices that can change things for you to make people feel valued so that you can get the best from them, so that your turnover can be lower. That even when people are just on the job, they are happy doing what they are doing because they know that you value them, not just you are just using them as a resource to accomplish a goal. Number 1, connect. Check in personally, weekly with your team members. Find a way every week to make contact with each team member individually, not a group broadcast, not a meeting agenda check, a personal message or call that asks, how are you doing? What do you need? You say, if I ask for that, then I'm putting myself in trouble. Oh no, I'm overseeing 50, 100%. With technology, you can do that individually. Now, this may sound simple. Very few leaders do it consistently, even though it sounds simple to check in on your people personally every week. But take, for example, a head of nursing at a district hospital in Enugu introduce a weekly 5-minute individual check for each of her 12 nurses. Within 3 months, she reported a measurable drop in absenteeism, and 2 nurses disclosed personal situations that were affecting their performance. Situations that she was able to address before they became crisis. 3 minutes per person per week. I mean, it's a very simple minimum that you can do as an investment for your team members. You can schedule it. Number 2, invest in growth beyond their current role. A secure leader, as a secure leader, you should be able to develop your people, even when the development means that they will outgrow the team, they will be promoted. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be an insecure leader that keeps people below their roles so that they don't leave them. No. Practically, to do this, once in a quarter, you can sit with each member of your team and ask one question. Where do you want to be in 2 years? Where are you heading to professionally? Then do something about the answers. For example, send them to a training, give them a stretch assignment, buy them a relevant book, recommend them for an internal opportunity. You say, I don't have the authority to do that. No, as a leader, you have a place like Allison.com where people can learn a lot of skills without paying for it, except when they want the certificate. Recommend something to them. Recommend something that is growing towards where they want to be based on what they have told you. A leader who invests in people's future builds loyalty that no salary alone can buy. Number 3, celebrate specifically and publicly. When you say something like great work, team, that's not recognition. It will register as noise and is forgotten within 24 hours. Specific recognition changes things. So don't tell your finance team, good job this month. No. Say something like, I want to acknowledge Adesua specifically. When our audit documentation had a critical gap last week, she caught it at 9 p.m., stayed 2 hours extra, and fixed it before the deadline. That saves us significant reputational risks. That is the standard we are building towards. Adesua will remember that for years, and so does everyone else on the team. Gallup research also shows that employees who receive specific recognition from their managers are 56% likely not to be looking for a new job. Number 4, protect your team from burnout. Burnout is not a personal weakness, it's a leadership failure. The World Health Organization classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon. It results from chronic workplace stress that has not been adequately managed. The symptoms are exhaustion, growing distance from the job, and reduced performance. I want you to know that your most reliable team members are the ones most at risk of burnout. Why? Because they say yes to everything. They cover for others, they deliver consistently, and they run out of steam quietly before you notice. So as a leader, build rotation into your planning. Build rotation into your planning. When someone signals that they are struggling, respond quickly rather than waiting for them to recover on their own. A 2-week reduction in workload costs far less than losing a strong team member to burnout or resignation. When you also protect your people from burnout, it also means that you care for them beyond the numbers. So let's do a leadership self-audit. These 3 questions and be honest. And whatever you identify, write it down. And whatever you offer to take care of that, do it. I want you to ask yourself first, when did you last personally check in with each team member about something other than the work? Is there someone on your team who has been invisible recently, uncelebrated, and unchecked on? What would genuine recognition look like for that person specifically? Number three, who on your team is showing sign of fatigue right now? What have you done about it? I want to encourage you to do these three things this week. Number one, send a personal message to every team member, not a group message, individual. Check in on them as a person, as simple as, how are you doing? How is your family? If you know that they are in school, how is your study going? Number two, in your next team meeting, before any agenda item, name one team member and one specific thing they did well. Be precise about what they did and why it matters. Number three, identify the team member most at risk of burnout right now. Have a direct conversation with them about workload before the end of the week. I believe that if you do this, your team be better, far better. A needed employee shows up, a valued employee transforms the work. So start valuing the person behind the function from today. Start valuing them. See them beyond resource. Make them feel valued. Let their voice count. Protect them from burnout. Thank you for your time. We have come to the end of session 2.